The year was 2024, and I had just been invited to my first music festival of all time, Furnace Fest. It usually takes place around fall in Birmingham, Alabama at their national landmark, also known as Lost Furnaces. And it's an old abandoned iron producing factory from 1882 to 1971. My friend and I were both invited by my suite mate at the time, who was a crazy hardcore metalhead fan, and also happens to be the founder's son. I was extremely nervous as I've never been to a metal show in my entire life, let alone a festival. I've always dabbled in the vintage stuff, but never truly got into the modern metal. Both of my buddies were slowly giving me bands to check out because they could see that I wanted them to nurture my flame in the genre. They both gave me a good handful of bands to check out months before the festival, but the ones that really stuck with me were Mindforce, who is a hardcore band from New York, Silent Planet, who is a metalcore band from California, and then Seosin, who is a post-hardcore band from California. Mindforce, though, was my most anticipated set for the weekend, as I've kept hearing the founder's son tell me that they're going to draw the biggest crowd and have the most energy during the weekend. During the car ride there, we passed Lost Furnaces from the interstate and saw that line of people, which got my heart racing. I knew it was going to be a highlight of my life. After we parked, we got out of the car, walked up to the gate, and I saw all these metal fans riling each other up, filling each other with adrenaline. It was about to go down. Day 1, Silent Planet. Silent Planet is a metalcore band who are all very big Christians like myself. I thought it was so cool and unique hearing a different style of Christian singing that wasn't your traditional gospel music, but instead, screamo. I ended up just watching them from side stage viewing area due to how mesmerized I was by the guitarist's tone. That sound that was produced from his pedal board and amp gave me literal chills. I just wanted to get as close as I possibly could to see how he was able to fabricate such unique sounds. After seeing them live, they became one of my most listened to bands of 2024 and 25. I saw many more great bands throughout that night, but I was just way too excited for day 2 and day 3. Especially knowing that my favorite band was coming in a couple of days. The second day was far more tame than the first. The first few bands were good, but the majority were just small local bands that not everybody knew. Maybe around the 10th set, we as a group could tell that everybody was waiting for the later sets to get crazy again. I knew that the band Seosin was going to get the crowd's energy back up when they finally would take the stage. According to my friends and I, the album that they were performing that night in its entirety was a no-skip album. They were performing their self-titled album. Around 15 seconds after taking the stage, the lights went out. The light operator flashed the spotlight on the guitarist, who opened the band with the first track on the album, It's Far Better to Learn. The crowd and I instantly went haywire and started moshing out of dopamine buildup. It made me feel like that one scene from Jurassic Park where that little kid jumps on the electric fence and gets blasted off. But it made me feel like that in a good way. I kept seeing people jump off the stage and onto the sweaty, hot sea of bodies that made up the crowd. It looked like too much fun that I just could not pass up. And I knew what I had to do. I had all this adrenaline in my veins and decided to fight the crowd like Moses parting the Red Sea. After I made my way up to the front, I jumped on the stage and swan dove into the crowd. It was exhilarating, and I immediately understood why people did it. After a few more tries, it was finally time to relax and enjoy the rest of the set. The lights went out after the 12th song for a fake out, when all of a sudden, the intro of their most popular song titled, You're Not Alone, started playing. The crowd understood the assignment, and everybody started turning on their flashlights, one by one, waving their hands back and forth, in a slow motion. However, the song is about dealing with the mental struggles relating to self-harm, and how we only got one shot in life, and instead of tearing each other down, we just gotta build each other up. So as you can imagine, it's a pretty powerful song. It consists of amazing vocals and amazing guitar work, and is probably the slowest song on the album. I ended up snapping one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken on my life during that song. We stayed for the other handful of bands that were going to finish out the night, but nothing that night was going to compare to what I just saw at Seosin. For the rest of the day, we found a place to sit and waited for day 3 to come around so I could see my most anticipated band, Mindforce. I had successfully survived day 2 out of 3, and it was finally time for day 3. I got to see some legends, such as Under Oath, Coed in Cambria, August Burns Red, Static Dress, Drug Church, with so many more, whom I started to love post-festival. After moshing and diving consistently for hours on end, my buddies and I wanted to take a little breather and check out the merch tables. As we were doing so, we saw somebody that looked very, very familiar. As we got closer, I realized it was Jay Peta, the madman and vocalist of the legendary band Mind Force. I got his attention after I screamed his name, and I got him to actually sign a hat of mine. I also got a picture with him. I actually lost my hat on that drive home from Furnace Fest, which really upset me. But I got another signed hat, and I got another picture with him. We tried to express to Jay just how excited we were to see his band, and we wished him luck. Just to see him 45 minutes later. As we walked into the shed stage where they were playing, you could hear 10,000 conversations going on all at once. But then, like a mute button on a remote, everybody went silent in a second. Mind Force has entered the stage. They opened with an absolute heater of a song titled New Lords off their 2022 EP. And saying that we all went berserk was an understatement. Bottles were flying all over the stage and the mosh pit was massive. It gave me flashbacks to Limp Bizkit at Woodstock 99, and I wasn't even alive for it. When the band was around 4 songs deep, I knew I had to whip out the Bud Light costume and wreak some havoc. I jumped on stage, threw my arms around like this weekend's mosh pits taught me, and dove straight onto a dude's face. I thought I was good until somebody jumped right on top of me before I could touch the ground, causing the people I was being held up by to lose their balance. The worst part for both the people under me and me was when another guy jumped on top of the guy that jumped on top of me, causing me to drop to the ground and slam my head on the concrete floor, causing me to black out for like a split second. But the craziest part, I was totally fine. After thinking back on it, I may have had just so much adrenaline and dopamine in my system that I didn't feel a thing until the day after. Needless to say, it was the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. Alright, now let's get out from the past and move to present day, 2026. After listening to all these amazing bands and seeing hundreds of other metal bands live just over the course of 2.5 years, I have been so inspired to the point where I want to surround myself with all things music related for the rest of my life, and felt the desire to further my education at Full Sail University to show me how to get that audio production degree locked down. I want to wrap up by emphasizing that cliche line people say, take risks because you'll never know where life may take you or what things you might find through them if you don't. So go out there, explore, and thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you.